I have officially had it with the Dallas Cowboys in a year where it seemed like all hope was lost whenever Dak Prescott got hurt. To Cooper Rush, he held his own, kept us in the playoff race, and then Dak comes back and he doesn't play good. He doesn't even play. He's in the middle. He's just average. He turns it over, but for every turnover he has, he throws a touchdown. And the Cowboys go 12-5 for the second straight year. And you have bright spots with Tony Pollard, and you have CeeDee Lamb having a breakout year, 107 catches, 9 touchdowns, a great wild card performance, a great divisional round performance. And then you have the same old crap with Ezekiel Elliott, who again had a career low in yards and averaged like 3 point something yards a carry. He had Michael Gallup come back from injury and did not have a good year. You have the third wide receiver spot, which was a struggle all year for the Cowboys between T.Y. Hilton and Noah Brown. And then everyone thought it was going to be James Washington, and then he got hurt in training camp. And then you thought it might be Simi Fehoko. I think that's how you say his name. If not, I apologize. He had a strong camp. It's like, okay, he might be a bright spot. And no, only only bright side at receiver we had this year was CeeDee Lamb, and everyone else sucked. Running back, only bright spot we had was Tony Pollard, and Ezekiel Elliott continues to be washed. Quarterback, our bright spot was Cooper Rush. We had a bright spot with Dak Prescott after the Tampa game, but I tell you what, Dak did not have, other than that game, he did not have a performance the way Cooper Rush did against Cincinnati or the way Cooper Rush did against Washington. There was no exciting games at all this year. There was blowouts, but they were against teams that the Cowboys were supposed to blow out. Even Minnesota, who it's been proven that they were fraudulent all this year, that victory feels like nothing now. It was exciting at the time, but it was like Kirk Cousins, who the Cowboys always destroy. And then Minnesota is a 13-win team that gets bounced by the Giants. And I'm just ranting and ranting and ranting. And it's appropriate that I'm wearing black right now because this is the funeral of the 2023 Dallas Cowboys. 2022, whatever damn year we're in. We're going to have the same funeral next year because it's not going to get any better. This team is never going to win another Super Bowl. I am more convinced of that than ever right now. I mean, I don't know if this year is the year, but this year was the closest shot they had, closer than last year, closer than the 2016 team, closer than the 2014 team. This was by far against a team. They beat Tampa Bay, a team they were supposed to get, a team they were supposed to beat, excuse me. And then 49ers starting a rookie quarterback. You hold Christian McCaffrey to under 100 yards. You don't really have any breakout performances from Brandon Ayuk or Debo Samuel. It was George Kittle who killed you. And if you're telling anyone in the future, like, okay, the only 49er that really did anything was George Kittle, you're thinking, like, oh, Dallas probably had a shot then if Debo didn't go off or Christian McCaffrey. And then you tell them, nah, the Cowboys lost by 6. Dak Prescott threw for under 200 yards, and Tony Pollard breaks his leg. And then they would say, yep, sounds like the same old Cowboys. And they would be correct. So we are going to look at these stats real quick. And then I don't know. I mean, do we even want to talk about next year? It's going to be the same old crap. Dallas will probably make the playoffs next year. Actually, they probably won't because the Giants look really freaking good. I mean, I know they got the living crap beat out of them by Philadelphia, but Brian Gable is a really good coach. I don't know if they're going to have Daniel Jones back, but even if they get someone other than Daniel Jones, they'll probably have the same amount of production. If anything, they might have something better because anyone can throw better than Daniel Jones. All he has is his running ability, you know. They're probably going to have Saquon Barkley come back. And then who knows what they're going to build on in the draft. And then the Eagles. The Eagles are one game away from the Super Bowl. They have a top 10 pick. They have two first rounders. The Eagles are going to be good for a long freaking time. As long as they don't have a situation like what's brewing in Baltimore in a few years with, how Lamar Jackson might be leaving Baltimore, even though they'll probably end up franchise tagging him. If that happens in Philadelphia, that's the only shot we're going to have for Philadelphia to not be good is if Jalen Hurts leaves and goes to another team. But that's probably not going to happen. Oh my freaking God. I am so ashamed of this team. Over here, left hand side, let's look at the game stats. Dak Prescott, 23 of 37, 206 yards. So I was wrong. He ended up having barely over 200 yards in a playoff game. Dude barely threw for over 200 yards. Pathetic. One touchdown. That was in the first quarter of Dalton Schultz. Two interceptions, one sack. QBR 51.5, just barely above average. Ezekiel Elliott, his slow ass had 10 carries, 26 yards, averaged 2.6 yards a carry. His longest run was 5 fucking yards. Again, his longest run was 5 fucking yards. Dak Prescott, 4 for 22. Tony Pollard, he got hurt in the first half, so his stats are kind of meaningless because, I mean, this isn't a complete game for him, so you can't judge him. CD Lamb, great game, 10 catches, 117 yards, caught 10 to 13 balls, had a really long up the sidelines pass for 46 yards in the third quarter. CD Lamb is the only person I'm not pissed at. Dalton Schultz, 5 of 10 targets, not that good. 27 yards, one touchdown. Noah Brown. Noah Brown caught both targets that were thrown to him. T.Y. Hilton only had one ball thrown to him. Why weren't these guys involved more? Oh, I can tell you why. Noah Brown can't get separation, and they didn't really use T.Y. Hilton that much, really. Avante Turpin had one catch as the very last play of the game. And Ezekiel Elliott, two catches, 7 yards. He had two other targets, and he dropped both of them, and they hit him square in the freaking hands. Defensive side, DeMarcus Lawrence had a sack. Odigizua had a sack. Other than that, nobody else really came to play. Deron Bland had a stupid out of bounds late hit. Micah Parsons really didn't do anything. Trayvon Dukes dropped an interception. Kelvin Joseph, I mean, this wasn't on defense, this was on special teams, but he had a forced fumble on a punt return. Kelvin Joseph is another Cowboy I am not mad at right now, and I never ever thought I would say that because Kelvin Joseph stinks, and there's no way that dude should be on the team. But if his last game in a Cowboys uniform was him making a good play, hey, good on you. But I hope I never see your bum ass on the field again because you freaking stink. Oh my God, I am just so fucking pissed off at the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm only 23, but I am convinced for however long I live, who knows, I could get struck by a meteor right after this freaking video ends. But I am convinced in my lifetime I will never, ever see another Cowboys. Well, I've never seen a Cowboys Super Bowl. The last one won 4 years before I was born. And I don't think I'm ever going to see one in my lifetime. Because as long as Jerry's running the team, we're not going to get one. And then guess who's going to take over the team? Jerry's fucking stupid son, Steven, who might be even dumber than Jerry. We are fucked. And then it's probably going to be Steven's kid. I don't know how smart they are. If they're anything like their dad, they're not going to be much better. The Cowboys, oh my God. I hate everything. Uh, the thing is, I'm going to keep rooting for them because they're my team. I'm not going to switch sides. I mean, right now, the only dog I have in the fight right now is Cincinnati just because I kind of thought they were going to get to the Super Bowl since they lost last year. So, and I want to see them win way more than any other team. I mean, I wouldn't mind if the Chiefs won. I wouldn't really mind if the 49ers won just because I think Brock Purdy's good enough to get him there. As long as anybody except the Eagles win, that's all I care about. Any of the other three teams can win, really, except for the Eagles. There we go. I made my ugly mug a little smaller so we can see this full schedule. So, home and away opponents obviously are three divisional rivals. And then home games against the Rams and Seahawks. And I mean, the Seahawks were very impressive this year. I think the Rams are going to have a bounce back year next year. Home against the Lions. I mean, I think the Lions are going to be really freaking good this year or next year because, I mean, look what they ended the season on. A lot of momentum, winning a shitload of games in a row and knocking Green Bay's out of the playoffs. So Detroit's going to have a lot of momentum next year, and I think they're a dark horse playoff team next year. And then home against the Patriots and Jets. At least the Jets stink, so that's the one victory I'll guarantee next year. Even though the Cowboys, I don't think have beaten them since like 2007 maybe. Patriots, they're kind of on a downward spiral, but I'm never going to doubt Bill Belichick. Cardinals, at least Cardinals are rebuilding kind of. Kyler Murray's kind of on the down low. Uh, there we go. We get to play the 49ers again next year, so we can get our ass whooped again. Panthers suck, so at least there's a win. Two losses right there to the Bills and Dolphins, and then Chargers. Cowboys aren't making the playoffs next year. No point in even watching. There, I just solved all of our problems. Just take a year off next year. Don't watch them. Just only bright spot I can say is at least if you watch next year, you get to enjoy one more cheap year of Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. Because after that, it's going to be time to start negotiating contracts with those fellas. And they're going to run up our cap, which is eventually going to end up screwing us. And we're going to end up cutting people. It's the same old song and dance that we have every year. Where it's like, okay, we're going to have to end up cutting somebody because we're strapped for cap space. Um, yep, same old shit as it always is with these freaking Cowboys. But that's the video. That's my rant. I just felt like talking about it because I was sitting in here in my room talking about the game to myself, and I'm like, I might as well make a rant video, and I'd be screaming a lot more if there weren't people inside my house sleeping. So can't really go crazy, even though inside my head I am. Oh my god! But that was the recap basically of the Cowboys and 49ers. This has been the funeral of the 2022 Dallas Cowboys. This is going in the trash right over here. And I might have a few more Cowboys jerseys I might throw in the trash later. Haven't decided yet. I'm done with him, though. I do not want him on this team next year. I don't want. I think it's time to get rid of Tyron Smith. I think it's time to rebuild this offensive line. Zach Martin's still good. You can keep him. But every other position on that offensive line, you have questions at. Tyler Smith, he he did good. I still don't like the penalties. We'll see how he develops into that. Tyler Biotish, I, I think the Cowboys can upgrade. I think they can upgrade at left tackle or left guard, and they can upgrade at right tackle. But watch it. They'll draft a position that we won't even need in the first round. They'll draft another edge rusher, even though we got Micah Parsons and Dorrance Armstrong and Demarcus Lawrence. I hate football. Shout out to Seth Rollins. But this video, I don't know if I'm going to be streaming Raw tomorrow. It just depends what time I get off work. I am going to watch it just because it's a huge show. Royal Rumble predictions are coming sometime this week. I'm on vacation from work, so I'm gonna try to work on some videos. I got an idea about an NFL season recap that I'm gonna try to do whenever I have some free time. GDS podcast should hopefully have its debut episode on Wednesday. Me and my buddy Drew were down for it. The other two are kind of being wishy washy about it. I'm kind of being demanding in the group chat because I really want to get this podcast recorded and I really want you guys to watch it. So hopefully that'll be sometime this week and just stay tuned for that. Hopefully it'll be about an hour long. It's going to be recorded on Zoom. Um, Hell, our main topic right now that we're kind of floating around is crazy women stories that we've had because we've all had bad relationships or not maybe bad relationships but bad breakups or in some of our cases bad relationships. So I mean I think that's a topic everyone can relate to. I'm not trying to offend a demographic on the first episode, but I feel like it's a strong talking point. um, but stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. If y'all made it this far, it's probably gonna be a long freaking video, but oh my god, I needed to get this out. All right, have a good night, everybody.